The human mind is a strange and funny thing, isn't it? I've mentioned in previous videos that I feel like being a flat earther is akin to having a mental disorder, and today I'd like to start going further into that theory. Disclaimer: I understand that telling people they have a mental illness can be seen as an insult. As someone who suffers from depression and anxiety, trust me, I am not unsympathetic when it comes to mental health issues. What I'm trying to say here is merely that this movement is in fact the result of the weird inner workings of our own brains, and it can be treated, and probably reversed. Now, I'd like to break this disorder down piece by piece, beginning with cause. What causes one to develop flat earthism? Well, first, one needs to have certain pre-existing personality traits. You need to be a skeptic, like myself. That is to say, when someone comes to you with a theory or idea that sounds in any way unbelievable, and sometimes even if it sounds completely believable, you will not accept it until you have taken a closer examination of available evidence. I believe this is a good thing, except when it's combined with the second personality trait, the Dunning-Kruger effect. I went over this in another video, which I'll link below, but let's do a quick recap. The Dunning-Kruger effect is a cognitive bias caused by an internal lack of self-awareness. In simpler terms, people of low ability believe themselves to be smarter than they actually are because they are unable to analyze their own level of competence. What this results in is a kind of arrogant, self-absorbed person who believes they've found some measure of truth in their life, and because it is truth, it cannot be debunked. But what is the catalyst that sparks the disorder itself? Well, in a nutshell, it's YouTube. The videos on this site have a severe problem when it comes to the spread of ideas. One does not need credentials to make a YouTube video. Look at me, one barely needs to know how to edit. And additionally, the spread of ideas on YouTube does not occur through conversation, as it should. It instead comes through a one-sided broadcast, in which a person is allowed to make claims without being questioned or corrected at any point. Because of this, it's very easy to give off the illusion of intelligence and expertise, when in fact you have none. And this leads me to flat earth channels. Try and put yourself in the mind of a skeptic, someone who doesn't take anything at face value, and imagine that you are presented with a video like this.
200 Proofs Earth is Not a Spinning Ball by Eric Dubay. 1. The horizon always appears perfectly flat 360 degrees around the observer regardless of altitude. All amateur balloon, rocket, plane, and drone footage show a completely flat horizon over 20 plus miles high.
Already, this sounds like a remarkable claim, but at face value, it's verified by our own senses. It is true that, when simply observing our surroundings, the Earth does appear quite flat. However, when Dubay goes on to say that all footage at any altitude backs up this claim, he is no longer telling the truth. He has quickly switched from a verifiable fact, the Earth looks flat from the ground, to something far less credible in the same sentence. It's easy to see how someone might be duped by this kind of quick-thinking con man.
So here we go. 5 facts about the Earth they didn't teach us in school. Number 5. The motion and blazing speed of the Earth. The actual motion, speed, and unbelievable movement of the Earth in the accepted heliocentric model of the solar system says we are spinning at 1,000 miles per hour at the equator. Now that's only 1 revolution per day, but we're also zooming 66,000 miles per hour around the Sun. But how about the entire Milky Way?
Which includes the Earth and the Sun, as together we are racing around the Great Attractor at 2.2 million miles per hour. That's 52,800,000 miles per day and 19,272,000,000 miles per year. Now this Great Attractor we orbit is quite far. It's somewhere between 881 quintillion, 850 quadrillion miles, and 16 trillion, 469 quintillion, 750 quadrillion miles away. Star Polaris remains in the same spot.
And no one has ever felt anything.
Oh, Jeranism. This guy is filled with the most deceitful tactics one can think of. To start off with, the video title is designed to intrigue a skeptic. Fact means verifiable, and school is generally a place shunned by skeptics. Most people are well aware that you are not taught everything in school, so this draws you in. Next, he throws a ton of information at you, hence the fast forwarding. However, despite all of this entirely accurate information, the conclusion he draws is completely wrong. We don't perceive speed, we perceive acceleration. It's the same reason that when driving 80 kilometers an hour, you're not consistently slammed back into your seat once you get up to speed.
It's the same reason when you're driving in your car on the freeway and there's a bee in your car, you don't go, oh my God, an 80-mile-an-hour bee. How is it keeping 90, 95? How is it keeping up? This is the fastest bee in the world.
However, Jeranism has confused these two and then infused it into his narrative, and as a result, his followers believe an unintentional lie.
But whether we like it or not, NASA and all the other space agencies are lying to the world. They're lying to you. They're lying to your kids. We've caught NASA too many times to count at this point.
Odd Reality is a particularly good speaker. He knows how to tug at heartstrings and push his listeners in the direction he's already headed. This is the key point. Odd isn't trying to present ideas or ask questions to provoke his listeners into thinking critically. He is instead slowly indoctrinating them to think the way that he does, to ask the same questions he does, to use the same biases he does. Throughout this video, he leans heavily on the "you're being lied to" cane, trying to invoke a sense of injustice and truth-seeking. But he's not seeking truth. He's recruiting followers. He's brainwashing, like a cult leader. This is the first step in acquiring the disorder of flat earthism. You need to be skeptical, but a little gullible, and ultimately, not very smart. In the next video, I'll go more into the behaviors and symptoms of this disorder, and what happens when you fall too far down the rabbit hole. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you like this video, like it. If you want to see more, please subscribe to my channel, which is Dead Kennedy in Space. Thank you, and I'm out.
Over the next hill, beyond the horizon.
Find your place in space. Space is vast and unexplored. There's a lot of work to do.